Hello and welcome to our webinar on the new Intuit QuickBooks Accounting Agent and GST AI Agent. My name is Kelly Gurr and I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Intuit QuickBooks. It's great to have you join us today, and before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and to pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Before we get started, let me take you through some housekeeping. Today's event is being recorded, so we'll be providing everyone who registered with a copy via email. Watch out for an email in your inbox so you can review any of the content shared today, or you can share it with other team members. As we have so many people on the call today, we've had to put you all on mute. When it gets to demo time, to see the screen better, we recommend you click the maximize icon in the top right of the media player. You can return the player to its normal size later by clicking reduce size. If you get super excited and click on too many buttons, and you just want to get back to viewing the presentation, don't worry, just hit the play button at the bottom of your screen and it'll pop straight back up for you. If you're having technical difficulties with not being able to see or hear the presentation, we suggest restarting your device, refreshing your browser, or trying a different device. Again, you will receive a recording of the session, so whilst it's not as good as the live thing, there's no need to panic that you'll miss out. You can also hit the help icon, the one with the question mark at the bottom of your screen, to launch our troubleshooting guide, which has answers to other frequently asked questions about any issues you're having. Now that's the housekeeping out of the way and on to today's session. So as I mentioned, my name is Kelly and we'll be joined today by Tish Bagwadeen, Founder and Director of InFinance Solutions. Today, Tish is going to take you through a deep dive into a couple of features in the Accounting Agent and the GST AI Agent, and how they will benefit you and your clients. I'll then show you the Accounting Agent AI-powered anomaly detection and how to access these agents. By the end of the session, you'll have a clear understanding of the AI-powered bank feeds, AI-powered collaboration, AI-powered anomaly detection, and GST AI Agent, and how these new features will give you less stress, more automation, and more control. So first, I'll hand over to Tish to take you through the Accounting Agent and the GST AI Agent in more detail.
Hi guys, thanks for taking the time to join me today for today's session. My name is Tish Bagwadeen and I'm going to be your presenter for today. A little bit about my background. I come from an accounting industry. I've spent almost 20 years working through various professional services and corporate service environments. Founded my own company in 2018. So we are a Melbourne-based accounting firm. And although we are Melbourne-based, we do offer remote services across Australia. Connected to that, we also have InFinance Global Solutions, which is the outsourcing arm that's based in South Africa. And of course, the way we're able to deliver all of these remote services, as well as keep an outsourcing firm in a different location, is through technology and the efficiency that it is bringing to us. So I'm really excited about today's session. It's something that I know I've been waiting for a long time. And it's all about focusing on the AI agents that QuickBooks has recently released. So before we head into a bit of a demo of the product, let's have a look at what is the AI accounting agent. And for me, really, is really an AI-powered assistant, and it's helping us be more efficient as bookkeepers and accountants. So really just streamlining the way that we're doing things, bringing in that added level of automation so we can actually spend more time focusing on monitoring or exception reporting. Some of the AI agents that I'm going to show you today, in particular with the way we communicate with clients, it really is streamlining workflow and manual data entry. It's going to make everyday bookkeeping much faster. And for me, the game changer is in the way that it's going to enable us to communicate with our clients. And it's using transparency and automation to keep client books accurate and consistent via the Intuit Assist functionality. So what does the AI accounting agent do? I think there's three key areas that we'll be looking at today. And so we've got bank feeds, just looking at some of the ways it's now categorizing and matching transactions, the way it is surfacing potential errors and giving us transparency and control. And all of this is leading into that boosted efficiency. We then have the collaboration component, and this is really about that seamless communication. I know sometimes a huge bottleneck, in particular at year end or at month end, is just the information flow between us and clients. We've got our own deadlines. Clients also have their own workflow in their business. They don't always have time to respond to us, or if they do respond to us, it's not always the accurate responses of the information that we need. So it's looking at how we're going to collaborate with clients using these AI agents to get faster but more accurate answers. Then we've got anomaly detection, and this is that early error identification that I was referring to through Intuitive Assist, and also some actionable guidance that's going to come through. So if you think about your wider team, they're going to get guided on certain processes, for example, exception reporting in our GST center, that can actually help them complete the work a lot faster, and it just leaves you with monitoring, reviewing, or exception reporting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and have a look at some of the demos. So here we've got the accounting agent. And so you can see that we're starting off in the banking screen, and the way in which you access the accounting agent is through the bank transaction area. So we've got a bank account set up here, and one of the things you will note is that the banking screen has had some significant improvements on it. So we're now able to directly change categorization of our transactions. If we click on that little AI icon that we see, so wherever you see that icon throughout your file, it means you can click on it for more information. So here you can see AI has actually brought in more information about the transaction based on the bank memo. So we can see that this is an Officeworks transaction, and it's actually linking through to their Officeworks website so we can get more information about the supplier. But it's also pulled up the history of the supplier and told us that based on the supplier name, we have historically coded this to stationery, so this is where it's predicting this transaction should go through. If you click on the same AI icon in the supplier column, you'll see that it does bring up that supplier information. So we're going to take a bit of a closer look in terms of what is that other functionality that's been brought in. So you will notice there's two additional columns coming through here, and you'll see that there's that little chat bubble. If we clicked the plus icon in that column, we can come in and actually write a direct request to our clients. So as you can see, this is me typing in the dialog box. But if we wanted to really quickly request information, you've got the ask for more info and ask for receipt button. So that already puts in a pre-typed request for you. At this stage, you could add and post that, or you can send that request off to your client directly. So we can have a look at what it's going to look like sending that client request out to our client. So you can see as soon as we've done that client request, the little plus icon now has the speech bubble in it. And if I clicked on the speech bubble, I can actually see what I've sent off to the client. So that's all surfacing in one place for me, and it's keeping my communication quite centralized. So the next thing I would like to look at is the client portal. So we do know that traditionally we could communicate to our clients via the client request functionality. We now have what we are terming the client portal. So once we send those requests out to our clients, you'll see you've got the little request button, and it's showing us that we have 6 requests that we have sent through. We can go in and actually review those requests individually by clicking on it. So these are the details of the transactions that we have requested information for, as well as for the details. And you can see if I click the little arrow icon, it then is going to give me what we're terming the magic link. Now, if I go in and copy and paste this into my browser, what we're looking at here is the client version of those requests. So this is the client portal. So traditionally, when you send through the client request, they always got notified via an email, and they had to be a primary admin to be able to log into the file and respond to the accountant's request. Here we can send off a link, and anyone with that link can access that through a browser, so you don't even have to directly log into your QuickBooks file. So here we can see the client is submitting some information. So we've typed in a response and the AI has come in and said, thank you for that response, but I actually need the receipt. So we're going to go ahead and attach a receipt to this. And once we submit that receipt, you can see that Intuit Assist is actually checking that data for us. So Intuit Assist is not about just preempting and giving standard responses to your clients. It's actually interpreting that data. So here we can see that Intuit Assist has said we've uploaded an Officeworks receipt, but the transaction that we need, the receipt was actually a linked transaction, so please upload the correct receipt. So if you think of how we would have handled this historically with our clients, traditionally we'll send a request out to clients, a client will send the information back to us, we'll get a notification that the client has responded to our request. We go in to evaluate the information only to find out they've sent us the wrong information, and the email thread goes on. Here you can see with Intuit Assist, it is validating that data directly for us and checking those receipts. So it's saving us the hassle of that back and forth with our clients. So here we have an Officeworks transaction. We're now going to attach the correct receipt. And you can see again, Intuit Assist is actually checking the status of that receipt. It's now validated that information for us, and we can now go ahead and continue reconciling. So you will notice that you have the 4 tabs at the top. Again, bearing in mind, we're still looking at the client version of the portal. So as the client responds to information, it will move from new to in progress. And only once we as accountants mark it off as complete will it move to the completed tab for clients. So again, just another example of how it's stopping sort of that back and forth communication with clients say, you haven't sent me information, and you have to go dig up an email and then forward it to them again. This is now been housed in one central area within our file. So now that we have our information, let's go ahead and look at reconciling transactions. So a couple of things that you should note from here is you will note that there's a couple of the speech bubbles that have the little pink dot on them. So let's go ahead and see how that's going to work. So now we're back into the accountant's view of the QuickBooks file. And if you clicked on the little 1 number, that's going to pull up the actual attachment. But clicking on that speech bubble with the pink icon, it means that the client has responded. And clicking on that icon is now going to pull up the entire communication history that we've had with the client. So you can notice you can actually send a response back to the client directly from this. But in this instance, we have all of the information that we need from our client. So we're going to go ahead and mark that off as complete. So earlier on, if you remember, I mentioned things only move into the completed column in our client's portal once we mark it off as complete, and that's how it's going to happen. As we mentioned earlier, that you also have the attachment column, and that will directly link us to the attachments. So we can open it from the screen if we wanted to review any attachments from here. Once we come in, we can select our transaction, and you will notice at the bottom that you still have those bulk actions available. One of the things that you would have noticed is you have the new button, which is request for more information. And you still have the ability to come in and match transactions. So here is an example of if you had some invoices that matched some deposits. QuickBooks has highlighted that for us in green to say that it's found a match, and we simply need to go in and hit that match button to be able to reconcile those transactions. So that is how we would handle the reconciliation process using the accounting AI agent. So one of the other functionalities that I would like to call out is the ready to post function. And so for those of you who've been playing around in QuickBooks a little bit more often than others, you will notice that sometimes when you log into your file, you have this little banner that comes up that says ready to post. Again, this is Intuit Assist or AI technology coming in, reviewing transactions for us, grouping them into that ready to post category. So you would have also noticed that your filters have changed. So once I change it to the ready to post filter, you can see I've got all of my transactions highlighted here. And at this point, I can either come in and bulk post this, Or I can see I have one transaction where I'm waiting for more information. So thank you for the help, Intuit AI, but I will deselect that transaction because I need client to respond to me, and I'll post the remainder of the transactions and reconcile. So lastly, we have the GST agent. So the GST agent can be accessed from the GST center. So when you go into GST overview and you get ready to prepare a BAS return, instead of just having the prepare BAS return, if you click on the little arrow, you now have an option to do a pre-file check. So clicking on that button is going to open up our pre-file check report. And really what this is actually doing for us, it is already validating some of our information on our BAS return and comparing it to our profit and loss. So you can see the GST agent has already said they've compared it to the profit and loss as well as the GST liability, and they found 13 transactions that are creating a difference. So if you think of how you would do this, traditionally, you would usually run an exception report, or part of your process would be run the profit and loss on a cash basis and compare that to your GST liability. You now don't have to do that manually. As you can see, it's been done for us, and we can see that there's a difference of $9,954 that we now need to investigate. And instead of us having to manually run those GL reports and go and try and find the invoices that are creating those differences, the GST agent has taken it one step further. We now have all of those transactions highlighted for us. So you can see we've got all of the 13 transactions that we need to review, and we can see that the tax code is out of scope. As I mentioned earlier, wherever you see that little AI icon means that you can have more information to review. So clicking on that icon is actually going to give you some guidance on how to resolve this issue. So again, if you think about this, where your team is preparing a BAS return for you, they now have that hands-on guidance coming through from the GST agent. We can give feedback to say, yes, this was helpful, and I do find it helpful. So yes, we'll give it the thumbs up. But we want to also go in and resolve this transaction. So clicking on that view button is now going to open up the invoice. So here we can see we have this invoice. The GST codes have been captured as out of scope. And essentially we want to come in and correct this. But when we're correcting the invoice, we want to make sure that we're mindful to change that tax rate at the top to inclusive of tax, so it doesn't change our total amount. And now we're just going to come in and change those GST codes. We'll save that transaction and then head back into our GST center. So now when we refresh our screen, one of the things that you'll notice is that transaction has now moved into the resolved area. So it doesn't actually disappear off the list. You still have a really good audit trail of what has been going on, and you can still review it as a manager. But what it is really removing is that manual process of vetting the data for you. You also will notice that you have the little ignore action, because there might be times you have clients that have mixed revenue, where some of it does have GST and some of it might have been out of scope. So you do have the ability to come in and click on that ignore button, and that will move it into the ignored tab. So those are some of the key functionality that's coming through on the GST agent as well as the accounting agent. I've really thoroughly enjoyed doing this presentation. I hope you've gotten some good insights out of it. And just a little bit of a quick recap on some of the key takeaways. Really, the emphasis is on the AI agents, is that it is there to increase automation to make our jobs easier. We've seen how the client portal streamlines communication with our clients. We're now able to interact with them directly through the banking screen, which is great. You don't need to have a separate login into your QuickBooks file for your clients to access the client requests that you send through. And we had a look at the GST agent, which really is all about improving accuracy. It's cutting out that manual data comparison for us and actually just giving us exception reporting so we can really focus on getting the work done. So thank you for your time today, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I know I certainly enjoyed presenting to you.
Thanks, Tish, for taking us through the AI-powered bank feeds and collaboration, as well as the GST AI agent. I'm now going to give you a quick overview of the AI-powered anomaly detection, also part of the accounting agent.
I'm going to show the accounting agent AI-powered anomaly detection. In this scenario, I'm an accountant or business owner checking to see the status of the books, determine if they are accurate and if I can obtain any business insights. First thing I'll do is navigate to reports and start with the balance sheet. Balance sheet will load and it looks like we have 2 insights available up here in the callout, and then they're also noted in the report with sparkles. So first I'll look at the panel here and see some insights. The first insight is advising an account receivable anomaly. I can go ahead and open up and see the AI agent is flagging we had an increase in accounts receivable, and it's also detailing the cause so we can investigate further if required. Clicking on the link shows the transaction report. And we can see the invoice listed. We jump back to the report and review the next insight, which indicates an increase in assets. Similar experience, we can click through to view more information and see the cause. Alrighty, now we'll jump back and let's check out the profit and loss. And it looks like we also have 2 insights. Again, you can also see the sparkles in the report itself. I'll go ahead and select the insights. The first one is highlighting an increase in income. And you can see there are a couple of causes which we could click through on to investigate further. And if we click back, the other insight refers to an increase in expenses we may want to investigate. We can see an unusually high expense from Bobcat World, and we can click through to find out more. So you can imagine for a larger business, there could be any number of variances month to month. So being able to get an overview of any anomalies and then drill out into the cause will save hours of hunting through data for further investigation.
I'm now going to give you a quick overview of how to access the accounting agent and the GST AI agent. As you've seen, the accounting agent includes AI-powered bank feeds, which is available on all plans, AI-powered collaboration, which is currently in beta and available on Essentials, Plus and Advanced, and AI-powered anomaly detection, available on QuickBooks Plus and Advanced. Let's have a quick look at how to access the features. To access the AI-powered bank feeds and collaboration, users will need to opt in via the bank transaction screen. The new AI-powered bank feeds view will become immediately available after selection. To switch back, users can select Switch to previous version. All users will be automatically switched to the AI-powered bank feeds view in the new year. To access the AI-powered anomaly detection, select Reports and the balance sheet or the profit and loss. And then finally, the GST AI agent is also available on all QuickBooks plans. It can be accessed via the GST app by selecting the Prepare BAS dropdown and selecting Pre-File Check. So let's chat about next steps. Be sure to take advantage of the resources we've created specifically for you to help maximise the value of the new platform and the AI agents, and to be able to answer any questions your clients might have. Check out the Advisor Resource Centre to view blogs, FAQs and videos, as well as toolkits and email templates to send to your clients. Consider contacting your customer base to educate them on the new experience and the AI agents. And if you want to find out more, get in contact with your partner manager for a demo and keep an eye out for more webinars coming up. And that's it for today. Thank you for your time. I hope you've found the session informative and have a great day.